All right, let's talk about the multiverse saga. We all think we know who the big bad is, right? Kang. Kang and more Kang. Well, what if I told you we're all wrong? Today, we're diving into a theory that flips the whole thing on its head and argues that the real architects of the coming Avengers Doomsday are the X-Men? Yeah, you heard me. Let's get into it.
So let's just get right to it. The entire multiverse is literally falling apart at the seams. And you gotta ask, who is actually to blame for all this? We've seen heroes and villains tear little holes in reality, sure, but who lit the first match that started this whole multiversal forest fire?
Your first guess is probably Kang, right? Or maybe Doctor Strange after all his shenanigans. Even Loki. But this theory, man, it says we're looking in the wrong direction completely. The real source of all this chaos, the very thing that's paving the way for Doctor Doom to rise, it's the X-Men.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. The X-Men? How is that even possible? Well, it all comes down to this one single idea, and you have to get on board with it for the rest of this to make sense. It's called the Prime Timeline Theory, and what it says is that the Fox X-Men universe, that's not just another reality. No. It's the original trunk of the tree, the one that everything else, including our MCU, branched off from.
And look, the evidence is actually pretty compelling when you lay it out. First off, the oldest thing we've seen on screen in any of these universes, it's an X-Men apocalypse, way back in 3600 BC. That predates anything in the MCU. Then there's the fact that in their world, mutants are just normal. It's the baseline, which kind of suggests a world without them is the weird one, the exception. And here's a fun little meta reason for you. Kevin Feige, the guy in charge of all this, he got his start working on the X-Men movies. So for him, that was literally his starting point.
Okay, so if the X-Men are the ones who shattered reality, then who's stepping in to try and clean up their mess? Well, that's where Doctor Doom comes in. See, in this theory, he's not just some power-hungry villain. He looks at this multiversal chaos the X-Men have unleashed, and he sees himself as the only one pragmatic enough to fix it. He's not trying to conquer the world, he's trying to save all of reality from their mistakes.
But to really get what Doom is up to, you have to understand the main threat here, an incursion. And this is just a terrifying cosmic problem. Imagine two universes on a collision course. You have this horrible choice. You can destroy one of their Earths and poof, both universes survive, or you can do nothing and both universes are just gone, wiped out completely.
So Doom sees all these branching timelines not as possibilities, but as a cancer growing on reality. His goal isn't just to stop incursions one at a time. That's like playing whack-a-mole. No, he wants to perform cosmic surgery. He's planning to take his shears and prune the entire multiversal tree, cutting off all the messy branches the X-Men created. And then he's going to reshape what's left into one single, stable reality.
So you're saying, okay, big claims, but where's the proof? Where's the evidence that the X-Men are guilty? Well, this next part, it's basically their rap sheet. We're about to go through the long, and I mean long, history of the mutants just messing with the sacred timeline like it's their personal playground.
And you can see the patterns so clearly. In Days of Future Past, they literally send Logan's entire consciousness back 50 years. In Deadpool 2, time travel is so common, Cable just uses it to pop back and rewrite history. And then you've got X-Men 97, where he tries to stop a canon event, a fixed point. We know from Spider-Verse how dangerous that is. They just consistently treat the timeline like it's a first draft that they can edit whenever they feel like it. And all of this brings us to this really important term, a nexus being. Now, this isn't just any old time traveler. A nexus being is someone who messes with time so badly that their action becomes the single point, the epicenter, for a whole new reality to just split off from the old one.
And right there, that's the aha moment. When Logan went back in Days of Future Past, he wasn't just fixing his timeline. He became a nexus being. He didn't save his future. He created a brand new, super happy one and just jumped into it. And his old, dark, sentinel-filled future, it just kept going, left behind as this broken, orphaned timeline.
So what happened to all those branches, all that timeline meddling? Well, that leads us to the biggest, craziest reveal in this whole theory. The countless branches they created, well, the biggest and most successful branch of them all, is the MCU, the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And when you put them side by side, the differences are just undeniable. The Prime Timeline, the X-Men's world, has mutants. The MCU, at least at first, doesn't. The ancient history of the Prime Timeline is dominated by Apocalypse. The MCU's ancient history, that's all about the Eternals. But here's the real kicker. In a world with super powerful mutants like Apocalypse, Earth can defend itself. Odin doesn't need to get involved. He never leaves the Tesseract behind. But in the MCU, a world without those defenders, he does. And that one little change, it sets everything we know in motion.
So here's how it probably went down. Step 1, some time traveler, maybe a future X-Man trying to fix everything, goes way, way back and just snips the mutant gene out of human history. Step 2, without mutants as Earth's defense system, the Celestials have to call an audible. They send in the Eternals. Step 3, this makes Odin have to step in more directly, which leads to him leaving the Tesseract on Earth. And step 4, the Tesseract. That leads to Hydra, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Nick Fury, the Avengers, the whole shebang. The entire MCU is basically an unintended consequence of someone trying to erase mutants from history.
And that brings us right back around to Doom. He sees this absolute mess, this tangled web of realities, all sprouting from the X-Men's meddling. And he's got a final solution to fix it all, a plan that involves kidnapping the most powerful children from across the multiverse and grabbing the ultimate cosmic power source.
So who's on his shopping list? It's like a multiversal all-star team of kids with insane power. He's after Steve and Peggy's son, a kid literally born between universes. He wants Thor's daughter, Love, who has the power of eternity itself. He needs Franklin Richards, the son of Reed and Sue, who can literally warp reality. And finally, the big one, Rachel Summers, the host of the Phoenix Force.
But wait, why Steve Rogers' infant son? Well, the comics give us a pretty chillingly simple answer for this. Doom is a master sorcerer, right? And the most powerful magic always has a price. The ancient rules of sorcery demand a terrible sacrifice to power a spell big enough to rewrite all of reality, and that requires the sacrifice of a complete innocent. And then there's the Phoenix Force. We've always seen it as this force of pure destruction and corruption. But what if this theory has it right, and that's not its true purpose at all? What if the Phoenix is a natural, cosmic function, a multiverse cleaner, whose job is to burn away all these extra messy realities to keep the main timeline pure? It's not evil, it's a tool. And that's it. That's Doom's two-step plan for total cosmic domination, or order, as he'd call it. Step 1, he's gonna unleash the Phoenix Force to do what it was meant to do, burn the entire chaotic multiversal tree right down to the stump. Step 2, he'll use the insane combined power of those other children to plant a new seed and grow one single perfect world from the ashes. A world, of course, with him as its god. So that leaves us with this one final, terrifying question. In the hands of Dr. Doom, is the Phoenix Force the only possible cure for a multiverse that's dying from chaos? Or is he about to light a fire that won't just prune the bad branches, but will incinerate the entire tree of time for good?